I'm Heidi Butler, the local history specialist at the Capital Area District Libraries. Today is September 8, 2018. I'm conducting interviews with visitors at the Lansing Harmony Festival, which is being held at Benjamin F. Davis Park on the south side of Lansing. These interviews will go into the library's local history collection to be used for research on the history of Greater Lansing. And now I'm talking with Ellen Kern. Ellen, do you give consent to be recorded for the Harmony Festival Oral History Project today?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. And you're going to tell us some Everett School Memories?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Go ahead.
This is Everett School Memories. We were outside of the city at the time, and Cedar Street was 2 lanes wide. Holmes Road and all others were gravel. No street lights or traffic lights. Holmes Road was called just the road. As several of the families lived there and had settled there, it was later named that. A white wooden building on the corner of Holmes and Cedar was the school, and later replaced with a brick one with a school bell in the belfry. The first bell, a warning, and the second, or last, was time to be in your seat, ready for roll call and learning. The wooden building was moved further south and housed the music department in one end and art department in the other. I don't know when the first building was built, but my father was born in 1889, and that's where he started. Teachers I've heard of from him were Nellie Holmes, Molly Everett, and Kate North. Later came the main brick building to the south, facing Cedar and across from Vernon. There was Perkins Grocery across the street, and also a farmhouse on the southeast corner of Cedar and Holmes, before J.D.'s was built. Later, Marlette's started the Cottage Inn across from the school, which employed some of our students. Then the Cedar Way Bowling Alley was built about that time. If we wanted to take lessons in bowling, it was after school. Girls wanted to wear slacks on that day, but that was unthought of. There wasn't a dress code, so to speak. Everyone knew what was acceptable and what wasn't. Mothers would cook and bake a day a week for putting on lunches to earn money for PTA for school's needs. They would also fix huge amounts of hearty soups and other foods for school children's lunches in Depression days. Township Hall was a white wooden building where the fire department is now on Glendale. They had the supervisor there. The interurban tracks used to go across the playground, crossed Cedar by Hunter Boulevard, and on south to Jackson. There was a third rail, which presented a danger. One area consisted of quicksand on the playground, which everyone was cautioned to stay clear of, for fear you would disappear into China. Another hazard was the creek going across the playground, and it is hard to guess how many accidentally slipped in and needed to walk back home for some dry clothes. South of the playground was Lee's Auto Parts. Next to that was Denstead's Grocery at Cedar and Rouse. It was a 2-story building with living quarters upstairs. Olson's lived up there. The football field was at the east end of Vernon at Pennsylvania, when it was still fields. Punishment in those days was staying in at recess or after school and do whatever the teacher decided, such as writing on paper or blackboard a sentence so many times about whatever you did wrong. For talking, you might get your mouth taped closed. Chewing gum, you might have to put it on the end of your nose and stand in front of the class to be laughed at. Possibly you'd have to face a corner of the room and stay in that corner a while. Rulers were used for slapping hands. For more serious conduct, there was the rubber hose that Mr. Lamb would use in the boiler room. I've heard that if that happened to anyone once, they didn't need it again. Teachers as well as parents were respected. The underground tunnel at Cedar and Holmes seemed a dark and dreary place. The gates were closed at night, but you hoped nobody was hiding on the steps as you ran by. If it rained hard, it would flood and couldn't be used. Around 1918, the school was overcrowded, and some were sent to Morris Park School. Elwin Holmes, my dad, was the so-called bus driver, except it was powered by horses and sleigh in the winter, and horses and wagon otherwise. After 8th grade, students were on their own if they could afford to obtain further education. Lansing Central was the only high school until 1928 when Eastern was built. You could have a choice as you had to pay the city to go to either. Also, get there the best way you could. That usually meant walking. Everett tried to keep pace with the 1937 class as far as space and teachers. For their 11th grade, an addition was being built and they could go to Eastern. It was a long walk there, but there was a swimming pool for those that hadn't already learned to swim in Sycamore Creek. Some stayed and graduated at Eastern, once returning for the 12th grade were Everett's first graduating class, 21 students. Year-end school picnics were held at Potter Park for grade school. High school picnics at year-end were sometimes at Lake Lansing or Pine Lake Amusement Park. That was fun going on the rides such as the roller coaster, Loop-O-Plane, Dodgems, Tilt-A-Whirl, Octopus, and the merry-go-round. Sincerely.
Thank you.